Hey, I'm Steven here from Tiny House Listings, and in this video I thought I'd do something a little bit different than what we normally do in terms of doing like DIY projects and that type of thing. In this video I thought I would show you guys the benefits of living in a house or a tiny house that's paid off completely without a mortgage, and then taking that money that you typically pay towards a mortgage or for rent and investing it throughout the course of the time that you live in your tiny house, preferably until you decide to retire and you no longer make money and you start to withdraw that money. So here we go. Okay, so I've got a compound interest calculator pulled up here for the website moneychimp.com. There's plenty more of them out there. I've used this one before and I know it works, which is why I'm sharing this one with you guys in this video. So what we'll do is we'll go down the list and populate this little calculator, and it'll spit out exactly how much money we would have just by not having a mortgage and investing that amount of money that we were paying for mortgage or rent. So right now your current principal is zero. This is how much you have saved by living in a tiny house or a house that's paid for, because we're just starting this exercise. So that's zero. The annual addition is how much money are you currently paying for mortgage or for rent monthly, and then multiplying that times 12. So for me, I'll put in how much I paid for rent the last time that I actually rented a place or had a mortgage. So that's how much I was paying each year for rent. And the years to grow. The years to grow is how old do you think you'll be when you retire from where you are now? How many years is that going to be? I'm not sure about you, but the older I get, the more I realize that I'll probably be closer to actual retirement age before I actually retire, because otherwise I'd be bored to death. So we'll say 62, because that's when Social Security kicks in. Your investments, you can take them out tax-free and those types of things. So for me, that's going to be 26 years from now. Over the last 100 years, the United States stock market has averaged a 12% return. There's been years when it's been more than that. There's been years when it's been less. So in other words, if you were to invest $100, you'd get 112 at the end of the year. That's been the average rate of return. So that's what we're going to put. And so what we'll do is we'll calculate. And this right here tells me $2,222,000. That's how much money I would have just by not having a mortgage or rent and investing that amount of money every month continuously without fail. So I challenge you to do the same thing, and maybe it'll be an eye-opener for you. I'm not suggesting that living in a tiny house is the only way you can do this. There's plenty of people out there who live in a house that's paid for and they have investments and they're good to go when it's time to retire. What I am suggesting is that if you live in a tiny house, it's much easier to get there from where you are. If you're in debt or if you're ready to get this thing started now, it's a fraction of the price. So I appreciate you guys watching this video, and there'll be plenty more coming up in the future. So one more point I'd like to make is that I'm not some sort of financial guru. I'm a novice when it comes to investing and things like that. But one thing I do know for sure that's a timeless truth is that living in a house that's paid for is one of the quickest ways to become prosperous, because a house is typically your biggest expense. And if you can save that money over time, it's almost impossible, unless if you have some unfortunate events occur in your life or something like that, to not be wealthy, to not have at least a good-sized nest egg available to you when you're older and no longer able to work. And living in a tiny house drastically reduces everything, all of your household-related expenses. I'm not sure about you, but in my 20s, I made good money and I squandered it. And now I'm in my 30s trying to make up for that. And I know there's a lot of you out there like that, maybe even your 40s or 50s or 60s or whatever. But living in a tiny house that's paid for will drastically reduce your expenses to the point where you can stock away a lot of money in a hurry. So thank you for watching. See you on the next video.